good evening and welcome to Joy News Prime. We're coming to you live from our studios here at Kukumlemle. We're live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 125, and around the world on myjoyonline.com. My name is Faustina Safo. Tonight, the International Monetary Fund exposes Ghana's economic management under the Akufo-Addo-led administration for reckless spending and derailing the country's $3 billion IMF bailout, warning the Mahama administration to stay the course or face collapse. We have details as Ghana road sector is drowning in a 21 billion Ghana cedis debt crisis, with the government owing contractors for completed projects. We'll hear the roads minister as he announces a 4 billion Ghana cedis payout to contractors to restart stalled projects nationwide. Plus, hear from drivers and commuters who continue to suffer on the 37 kilometers of Fanko and Sawam stretch. Also tonight, opposition New Patriotic Party pulls out of the Ablekuma North parliamentary election rerun just 3 days to the election, as they described the EC's move as shameful and needless, insisting their candidate, Ekuya Efrie, had won the elections. We are your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. Please take a seat in the end. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, has slammed Ghana's economic management, citing reckless pre-election spending and reform delays in late 2024 under the Akufo-Addo-led administration as reasons for derailing the $3 billion bailout program. This mishap has halted the disbursement of hundreds of millions in support, prompting the new government to take urgent corrective measures. The IMF warned that Ghana's only way out to avoid economic collapse is to strictly adhere to the program's requirement, directing implications the previous administration was supposed to go through, and the finance minister, Amin Adam, for overspending and inflation woes that derailed the bailout. Well, lead researcher with the Joy News team, Isaac Ofeje, joins me in the studio as we look at some of the details from this. Kofi, I appreciate your time. This is not the first time it is happening. Based on the details we have, we know that this happened some far back as 2023, based on our data. Tell us more about it.
Well, so this is what the IMF is saying. That is the verdict. But let's look at the various promises and commitments that the previous administration made. Now, we start from 2023 November, where Abena Osei-Asare, who was the deputy finance minister to Kenneth Ofori-Atta, told parliamentarians when she was addressing parliament that they were very confident that government was not going to overspend in the 2024 budget. This was when the 2024 budget had been read, and she insisted that going into that year, there were fears that government was going to overspend. But she believed that government had what it takes to not overspend in 2024. This is what she said.
Governments have used election year as auctioning periods, engaging in all kinds of projects to win votes. But this government is committing itself to strong fiscal consolidation and efficient management of existing commitments in order not to derail the hard-won stability that we are witnessing. Mr. Speaker, as part of this commitment, government is not initiating new commercial loan-funded projects. And so when you check Appendix 10C, where we usually have commercial loan-funded projects, that place is blank. This tells you government is really committed to living within its means.
I'm now Osei-Asare there, but she's not the only one, right, Kofi?
Absolutely. The former finance minister himself, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, made two promises. We'll start with the first one, which he made to the IMF boss herself. And he said that, look, he was also very confident that going into the election year, government was not going to, overspend. Remember that the IMF boss, actually visited Ghana in March 2024. And she was very, very particular about election-related expenditure because they've seen it before. Ghana has been to the fund for 17 times. They say 18. So they know the template and they know how we derail when we get to election year. But this was the assurance from the former finance minister.
We are committed, ladies and gentlemen, to sustaining our macroeconomic policy adjustment and reforms to fully restore macroeconomic stability and debt sustainability, while fostering a sustainable increase in economic growth and poverty reduction. Despite the fact that 2024 is an election year, we are committed to enhancing domestic revenue mobilization and tightening expenditure commitment controls to avoid policy slippages. Ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to also report significant progress in our debt restructuring efforts, which began in 2022. Our debt exchange offers have resulted in a substantial reduction of our debt burden and an extension of our repayment period when the agreements we have reached are implemented.
Finance Minister there, Mohammed, former Finance Minister, I beg your pardon, Dr. Amin Adam there. And then there was a response from the IMF. I'm quite interested in what exactly they said.
Well, so the IMF were pleased. I mean, when government begins to make such commitments, they will be happy. And I remember Stefan Rode in December 2024 actually welcoming this, commitment by government, because the fear of the fund was that, look, we've been practicing or we've been having the program for more than a year and it's been smooth so far. We do not want you to use election-related expenditures to derail the program. And so the IMF actually welcomed this commitment, and here's what Stefan Rode had to say.
Inflation is declining rapidly from 54% in December 2022 to 23% in May 2024. And Ghana's international reserves have been increasing. Looking ahead, staying the course by adhering to the committed policy and reform agenda remains essential to fully restore macroeconomic stability and debt sustainability, especially in the context of the upcoming general elections. We welcome the commitment from Minister Adam and various other government officials to stay the course on reforms.
Well, there's more on this, Kofi, and the current finance minister has been responding as well.
Absolutely. Before that, I mean, those were the commitments we had from the previous administration. Now, some 6 months down the line or 7 months down the line, the IMF is in with a verdict. Those were the commitments. What is the IMF's verdict? The IMF's verdict is that if you look at the current program that we are running, what they say is that the program performance has faces what deteriorated market, has actually deteriorated at the market end of 2024. What the IMF is basically saying is that there were two factors that actually caused some of these, slippages. First one is pre-election fiscal slippages, talking about election-related expenditures and inflation above program target. And remember, the first person to give this indication was the finance minister, Dr. Kasia Latoforsen, who said that if you look at the current IMF program that we are currently running, there was a high probability that we were going to miss some of the benchmarks in the fourth review. He mentioned inflation. He mentioned, the balance of payments. He mentioned so many other things that he felt that were actually not on the tangent that the IMF really wanted us to be on. But the big promise was from the finance minister himself, the former finance minister, Dr. Mohammed Amin Adam, who told the IMF boss when she came to Ghana that you don't have to worry. We are very, very committed and we believe that we can stay on course. But the verdict we are getting this evening, per the data that we have seen from the IMF latest review, is that government could not, go by this commitment or this promise they made to the IMF. And the IMF is currently saying that there are not just, slippages, but what they call large slippages. They call it large policy slippages. And this is not the first time we've been here. And so that's the reason why you could understand why the fund was really, really worried coming into the year of 2024 being an election year. But it's the verdicts we are getting that government actually had large policy slippages in the dying embers of 2024 for state.
Interesting data we have there. And we will be exploring the implications, especially for the economy, Kofi, because this is key. And this would actually impact how the IMF deals with the country moving forward. Well, it's a good time to bring in an economist as we look at how this will impact our economy. Godfred Bokping is an economist and professor of finance at the University of Ghana Business School. We appreciate your time here on Joy News Prime. I just wanted to pick your thoughts. Could this be the reason disbursement of the fifth tranche of the IMF bailout delayed? And what will be the implication for the economy, especially if the IMF doesn't trust us?
Well, yeah, good evening, and good evening to our cherished viewers and listeners. Yeah, that was not surprising. I think Kofi did mention that under the supervision of the IMF, we couldn't keep to fiscal discipline. Without IMF supervision in election years, we were not able to keep to fiscal discipline. The bulk of what we have seen in 2024 should not surprise any Ghanaian because we saw this in 2016 again under the 16th IMF supported program and all the commitments that one could expect from any reasonable duty bearer. We got that also in 2016 and all of that. So when you read the fourth review of the 16th IMF supported program, you will see the verdict is not substantially different from what we have seen from, again, the fourth review of the 17th IMF supported program. And interestingly, the 16th IMF supported program kicked in April 3rd. 20 months later, we had a 2016 general election. Then under the current dispensation, the IMF program kicked in on May 17th. 19 months later, we had the election. So when you compare the data, you realize that we missed the inflation target, we missed the, in fact, actually with GDP growth, we missed that in 2016. But of course, you can see that GDP growth, we exceeded the program target in 2024. And then in terms of international reserves, we exceeded the ceiling under the IMF supported program. But of course, beyond the two, all the other indicators and the main fiscal anchor for fiscal consolidation, we missed it markedly. And of course, you can see, and I believe that is where the IMF is now praising the government, similar to what we saw again from the IMF in 2016, when the program was practically off track, the government in 2017, and then we even had to extend the program, which was supposed to end in April 2018.
But is this likely to compel government to extend the current deal?
Well, we felt that given the results of 2016 and also and also more than 60% of the inflows under the IMF supported program had been utilized by December 2024, and compared to about 51% in December 2016, and all of that, we felt that yes, we needed to do that. But again, if you look at what the government has done, and the focus now is more about what the government has done from 2025. So you can see that the government practically has used the 2025 budget to painfully correct these excesses from 2024 by shrinking expenditure in what the finance minister calls a shock therapy. So they had to shrink expenditure by more than $10 billion in nominal terms. They reduce our gross financing needs substantially and all of that. Then so doing all of this, and then of course, this government also benefited from the previous administration in terms of the inherited reserves from the central bank. So that allows them this kind of confidence to do that. So if you look at the progress that they've made using the 2025 budget, essentially in bringing the program back on track, because we're supposed to do a primary surplus of 0.5% in December 2024. We did a primary a negative of about 3.9% or so provisionally. And then government essentially used the 2025 budget to restore the primary balance to 1.5% of GDP and all of that. So putting all of this together and how the macro numbers have responded to these fiscal and monetary measures, clearly the program is on track, and we are likely to finish the program successfully. But the question is, what happens when the program ends? What measures are we going to put in place to hold ourselves accountable even as the 2028 election approaches? Those are the issues and uncertainties that I believe government will have to assure Ghanaians and stakeholders what they are going to do differently.
Thank you so much for your time here on Joy News Prime, Professor Godfred Bokwe. Now, away from that, let's do other stories. Ghana's road sector is drowning in a 21 billion Ghana cedis debt crisis, with the government owing contractors for completed projects. The roads minister, Kwame Govers-Agbodza, revealed the alarming figure, describing the situation as dire. To mitigate the crisis, the government plans to release some 4 billion Ghana cedis to revive stalled projects. The minister attributed the collapse of road projects to delayed payments to contractors who often take loans to pre-finance public works. A critical example is the Ofankor Nsawam Road, which was supposed to be completed in July 2024, but remains in a deplorable state, plagued by potholes and breakdowns, causing frustration for commuters. Emmanuel Jivenu was there and reports.
This is no ordinary road. It is one of Ghana's most critical corridors, the 37-kilometer stretch linking the capital Accra to Nsawam and further into the middle and northern belts. From yams in Yendi to tomatoes in Techima, this is the route they take. But for years, this road has been in a deplorable state. Ridwan Kasim Jamal is a driver and should be in Burkina Faso by now. Instead, he's been stuck here for the past 2 weeks.
My car just twists left and right and my cross members broke it. That's why that my car has been imbalanced like this. So it's the road that is not good. It's not just because of the load or something. Because the load is not any load that I have carried. This is where I've been staying. I've been sleeping inside the car tonight. At the daytime, then I'll be going and sitting over there because of the ducks. My car owner said that he's bringing in our new truck to come and offload the car. So the goods that is in the car, we cannot touch it unless the custom come and remove the device. There is a device at the back of the car. So that's what we are waiting for.
It is not just cars breaking down. It is the people too. Drivers, traders, passengers choking on dust, spending hard-earned money, yet the road stays the same.
The road spoil. It makes the passengers who did the road top, they suffer. Some of the cars, some are 10 city, maybe 10 city, you see. People who did the road top, they suffer. The road, if you can't do harm. No excavator did the road top, boss do nothing. That's Charlie boss who they suffer. Boss who, I beg, make the government do something. That's what will happen.
It's too dusty. There's dust all around. And because of the bad road, the road is not yet fixed. So it's just bad road for us. So they should fix it for us as soon as possible. Other than that, we're just suffering all around with dust.
Me can say me per scanning tea. My fine soning bana me nya quite to me no smas. Bra me head here me no. Aha, it's ye bepe say. Is you no here a party. No smas no cry.
What was meant to be a landmark upgrade, a project to ease the travel and open up key parts of the country, has instead become a symbol of pain. Years after work began, the road remains in ruins.
And if you look at the nature of the road, it's very bad. If it rains, you can't pass here. And without the rains too, there's too much dust here. As a result of that, if you don't have your own private cars, even the trotros, they are not coming because the trotro owners, they don't want their drivers to come here due to the bad nature of the roads.
From Amasaman to Saperman, through mid-year to Nsawam, the only thing moving fast here is frustration.
The road is not good. Please, we beg, they for do for us, please. The road is not good at all.
Oh,
shop. And you may want you more 50 cities in a year. So it's not buying no. When you be my watch it.
It's been 3 months since Road Minister Gavin Kwame Agbodza visited the site and promised action. He admitted the government owed the contractor over $45 million. But instead, both sides were committed to progress.
The Ofanko Nsawam road has been abandoned for some time. We've been having discussions with the contractor and we came to a conclusion that effective immediately, they should mobilize to site starting this afternoon.
What is the ministry owing here?
In excess of $45 million.
To the people who live and work along this stretch, this road is everything. It's their livelihood, their link to markets, their way to the hospital when someone falls sick. So they ask, how can a road this important, one that feeds Accra, carries the north to the south, be left for this so long? Emmanuel Jivenu, Choi News, in Sawam.
Well, at a press briefing today, the senior project manager for the Ofanko Nsawam Road, Engineer Abdullahi Mahama, announced a new completion deadline of 6 weeks, pending any unforeseen setbacks. Meanwhile, Sector Minister Kwame Governs Abuja disclosed that government plans to release some 4 billion Ghana cedis starting this month to settle part of the 21 billion Ghana cedis owed contractors.
On the bigger issue of how do we address the payment to contractors, since we have already admitted. If you listen to His Excellency the President of the Republic yesterday, he indicated that towards the end of this month, the Finance Minister would be taking steps to retire some of the debt owed contractors so that they can go back to site and complete the work. On record, we are intending to pay some 4 billion Ghana cedi towards retiring part of the 21 billion from this month. I have no doubt that will be on record to be one of the biggest payments at a particular time to make sure that we are serious about clearing the debt and then also paying for or making provision to start the new works we are talking about.
Away from that, government has launched what it describes as a ruthless offensive against gold smuggling, unveiling the new Gold Board task force with incentive for whistleblowers who help arrest smugglers. President Mahama announced a 10% reward paid in seized gold or cash value to whistleblowers who help expose and dismantle gold smuggling networks. While speaking at the inauguration of the Gold Board task force, he said the personnel will be equipped with body cameras and their vehicles will be fitted with GPS tracking to ensure accountability and transparency. Presidential Affairs correspondent Maxwell Agwagwa has more in the following report.
Brimming with determination, the newly formed Gold Board Task Force was inaugurated by President Mahama with a clear mandate to take the fight to gold smugglers nationwide. In his speech, President Mahama declared that the time has come for Ghanaians to also own gold mines and take full control of the country's mineral wealth. He says his administration is determined to work with Ghanaians who have the resources to invest in the mining sector so that they don't just work in the industry, but own it and produce gold for exports.
And indeed, other resources. We are discovering many other minerals in Ghana. And we believe that Ghanaians must be the first beneficiaries of the natural resource blessing that God has given us. So gold is just one example. We're going to make sure that in other minerals, Ghanaians play a leading role in terms of our mineral exploitation. And the time has come for Ghanaians to also own gold mines and produce gold for export.
The president revealed that since January, Ghana has earned approximately $5 billion from the export of 51.5 tons of gold from the small-scale mining sector, which he says has helped to stabilize the cedi.
By May alone, the Gold Board had exported 11 tons of gold valued at USD 1.1 billion. Actually, it's in May alone, the gold board exported 11 tons of gold, valued at 1.1 billion US dollars. Cumulatively from January, exports from the small-scale sector reached 51.5 tons, which is valued at approximately 5 billion US dollars. Can you imagine? This is gold, money that would not have come back to Ghana because traders would have taken it freely out of our country and kept the foreign exchange reserves outside.
President Mahama said a 10% reward will be paid in seized gold or other cash value to whistleblowers who help expose and dismantle gold smuggling networks.
Every member of the task force will operate under strict oversight. All officers will wear body cameras in every operation they undertake. Vehicles used by the task force will be GPS tracked and monitored in real time during operations. Now this is the sweetest one. Whistleblower channels are in place, and informants are eligible to receive 10% of the seized gold or cash value. So whistleblowers, get ready. If you blow the whistle on anybody and gold is retrieved or cash is retrieved, you'll get 10% of the value of both the gold and the cash.
The Finance Minister, Kasiel Atuforsen, revealed that during the peak of Ghana's economic challenges in 2022, approximately 60 tons of gold valued at around 1.2 billion US dollars were illegally smuggled out of the country. And he says the gold board will help prevent similar occurrences.
We'll take a break here on Joy News Prime, but still to come, suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo petitions ECOWAS Court over alleged human rights violations in ongoing removal process. The opposition New Patriotic Party has pulled out of the scheduled rerun of elections at 19 polling stations in the Ablekuma North constituency. At a press conference, the party maintained its firm opposition to the Electoral Commission's decision to hold the rerun this Friday to complete the collation process. Its parliamentary candidate, Nana Akua-Afriyie, on Monday filed a case at the Accra High Court arguing that the Commission's action could amount to contempt of court and a breach of CI 127. Speaking at a press conference held at the candidate's office in Odoko, the party's General Secretary, Justin Frimpong-Kodua, insisted that Nana Akua-Afriyie had already won the election, describing the rerun as not only needless, but shameful.
About an hour, even before the start of the press conference, tens of party supporters had already gathered in solidarity. Party General Secretary Justin Frimpong-Kodua described the EC's decision to conduct a rerun as not only shameful, but also needless.
Their pronouncement in Parliament and even engagement with political parties when it happened on June 12th, where they maintained their position that it is left with 3 polling stations, will sadly make a U-turn. Indeed, it is a shame for this country. The inconsistency from the Electoral Commission is a shame. But for us in the New Patriotic Party, we remain resolute. And we know that our candidate, Nana Akua-Afriyie, won the elections with a margin of 414 votes. And this is based on facts and figures.
He went on to project a number of scanned pink sheets, which he insisted gave Nana Akua-Afriyie a 414-vote winning margin. He said the National Executive Committee had taken a decision not to partake in Friday's election.
And yesterday, when National Executive Committee met, we said that under no circumstances will we be intimidated. Yes. Under no circumstances will we be coerced to go for a rerun. We will not go for any rerun. The new Patriotic Party will not go for any rerun. We have won the elections. We have won the elections. What we are asking the Electoral Commission is to follow the court directive, to finish the coalition and declare our candidate Ekwafie as the MP at Ablekuma North.
On the case filed in court, Deputy General Secretary Haruna Mohammed said they expect the court to expedite action on the matter.
We filed the case yesterday, an ex-party, by motion for them to be heard. We believe that today the court will call because we have given room for the other parties to be heard. And that is why we intentionally, in the process of the court, ask that these persons be joined onto the case.
Although the matter is yet to be determined, BNPP is clear. They have pulled out because the process, according to them, is a potential contempt of court. For Joy News, James Savaji, Ablekuma.
While the governing NDC is pressing ahead with preparations for Friday's rerun despite the MPP's withdrawal, Deputy Director of Elections and IT, Madi Gabriel, says the party has already received an invitation from the Electoral Commission to begin printing ballot papers. He spoke on the AM show.
As a party, as of yesterday, we have not received any suit as of yesterday. And I'm also aware that the Electoral Commission, which conducting the elections, has also invited the political parties to submit their agent lists for print of the ballot papers tomorrow, which the letter came to us as 6:30 p.m. yesterday. So as of now, we are not aware of any suits against us. The Electoral Commission also not communicated anything to us.
Away from that, the General Secretary of the opposition New Patriotic Party, Justin Frimpong-Kodia, is tonight backing the NDC's national chairman's verdict on Electoral Commission's alleged incompetence. Johnson Asiedu-Nketia has declared that the EC chairperson and her deputies must be removed. Well, tonight in an interview for PM Express to be aired at 9 p.m., the NPP General Secretary warns his party will not stand in the way of any attempt to remove the EC commissioners.
It's not a question of going to rerun. It's about principle. It's about principle. We must have principle. We must have conviction. So tomorrow you go to elections and you win. And this same body comes to tell you that based on whatever reasons, they think you should go for a rerun.
I mean, Johnson Asiedu-Nketia says the Electoral Commission is incompetent. They need to be reset. They are not fit for purpose. You must certainly agree now, considering your grievance with the East Electoral Commission, or you disagree still?
Well, based on what is happening currently, I'm unable to even speak positively of the Electoral Commission. Because the inconsistency from their action even makes it difficult for me to even understand the decision that they have taken. So or for me to even criticize a person's perception about the Electoral Commission.
So you agree with Johnson Asiedu-Nketia?
Well, that's the point I've made. That I'm unable to even side with them. I'm unable to even defend them. Because if you cannot be consistent with your own decision, if you cannot be coherent, it makes it difficult for people to even predict you. And that is where we are as a country. At least the Electoral Commission must have principle.
You think they lack that?
Certainly they do. Because of what we are witnessing at the moment. Because you cannot take a decision as a reputable institution like the Electoral Commission. They come back, make a U-turn.
I mean, you must then agree with Johnson Asiedu-Nketia that the chairperson and the two deputies must go there.
Well, I will still retrace the point. For where I say that what they have done, I'm unable to even comment on the Electoral Commission.
So if then You agree then that they must
But that is for your interpretation. The inconsistency on their part. I'm unable.
So you not defend them if a process is started to remove the 3?
Why should I? On what basis? That's why I said we must have principle and conviction. For people to respect you for that, even if they disagree with you.
Away from that, Ghana's suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo has taken her fight to the ECOWAS Court of Justice, accusing the country's judicial system of violating her human rights in the ongoing impeachment proceedings against her. The move marks a significant turn in the high-stakes drama, with the Chief Justice seeking redress and challenging the legitimacy of the removal process. This was revealed in a social media post by the Deputy Attorney General, Justice Ramsay, and we'll be getting you that shortly. But before that, let's listen to the President, John Dramani Mahama, saying he will not make any decision regarding the suspended Chief Justice Gertrude Torkornoo until he receives that final report from the committee probing the misconduct allegations against the Chief Justice.
Undertaking your work in earnest, as the Chairman of the Council has stated. We've referred several things to the Council for advice, mostly in respect of appointments to governing boards and other statutory institutions. And I want to thank you for the approvals you have given us and for expediting the work of government. It's helped us to more speedily than any government in the past have persons in place to begin to prosecute the reset agenda that we have. On the issue of governance, we've had the difficult issue with regards to the suspension of the Chief Justice, and of course the Council of State was involved in a part of that process, and so we've done our part. The rest is left with the committee that was set up to come out with whatever its findings are, and based on that, whatever the consequential issues are will be dealt with.
Well, Justice Ramsay wrote on his X page, just giving us details of this new case, and it's coming up on your screens. It reads, "I can confirm that the Chief Justice, Her Ladyship Justice Gertrude Torkornoo, has filed another court case, this time at the ECOWAS Community Court in Abuja, Nigeria, against the Republic. In the case, which was filed on July 4, Her Ladyship repeated the same allegations of human rights violations, which are currently pending determination before our Supreme Court, also before our High Court in respect of the ongoing removal processes. Essentially, Her Ladyship argues that by her suspension, she, quote, has effectively been removed from her official capacity without a final determination, impairing her right to function and serve in the position she was constitutionally appointed to, unquote. Stakeholders, including academics, civil society groups, the military, are urging decisive action to tackle the challenges hindering the fight against illegal small-scale gold mining in the country. The goal is to mitigate the negative effect on rural communities and safeguard the country's water bodies and forest reserve. Elsie Toxin has more in the following report.
Growing calls for a state of emergency in Ghana's forest reserves are overshadowed by concerns over state actors undermining anti-illegal mining efforts. At the launch of his book, State Capture in the Militarized Fight Against Illegal Small-Scale Gold Mining in Ghana, Professor Jasper Ayalozuno urged the government to scrutinize state actors' influence on small-scale mining, particularly in rural communities.
Civil society are doing the right thing by calling for this state of emergency. And this, like I was saying in my speech, the present government have to show that this state capture is not going to continue. There is no security threat more than this. And once this is happening, you declare a state of emergency, and then you move the military in, deal with those elite class people, and make sure you clean the place.
Experts, including Francis Opoku of the Ghana Association of Small-Scale Miners, advocated for advanced technology to curb illegal mining.
Government's involvement in terms of providing finance, providing technology, in terms of even giving them mineable land to mine on, it's not done. So all these things, once we are able to move from, always going on raid against these legal miners to transforming it, giving them what it takes to make a scientific mining, to approach mining in a scientific way, we can easily move them away from what they are doing bad to do the right thing.
Nana Dr. Brigadier General Albert Edu, retired, on his part highlighted challenges in declaring states of emergency.
Some people are saying that the state of emergency should be limited to the particular area that the galamsey is taking place. Yes, it's true. It's one of the actions the government can take. But you should consider how it's going to affect or impact on the economic activities of those people who are not involved or directly involved in the galamsey and they have farms and all those things. What kills the military's morale is that the military will go in, capture some of these champagne and excavators. The judiciary, I'll not blame them because they have to go around the legalities. But at the end, you see that these excavators will go back.
Without strong political will and accountability, the fight against illegal mining may falter, leaving rivers polluted, forests devastated, and rural economies broken. For Joy News, Elsie Turkson.
Well, away from that, in a thrilling climax to the 2025 NSMQ Central Regional Qualifiers, all three winning schools clinched their spots with scores in the 50s, as Infantimam girls led the pack with a commanding 56 points, sealing a day marked by intensity, grit, and high-scoring brilliance. My colleague Adobe Asari has more in the following report.
17 units. Yes. We have 2 new teams. Yes.
The final day of the 2025 Central Regional Qualifiers of the National Science and Math Quiz ended with a powerful display of academic might, and the girls led the charge. Infantimam Girls Senior High School emerged the top scorers of the day, dazzling audiences with a commanding 56 points, the highest recorded in today's contest.
I know that our girls are good and they are going to do well. And we expect much for them. And yes, they've done it before. And yes, they are going to do more than they've done.
The school, a familiar face on the national stage, is yet to win a regional title, but the team says that's about to change.
We know we have a God who is behind us, and we know what our girls can do. And so if we meet them, we know we can beat them.
They weren't the only ones to impress. University Practice Senior High School came through with a solid 55 points, while Agri Memorial edged out Breman and Sekuma. After both schools finished round 1 neck and neck, Agri eventually pulled ahead to finish with 54 points, earning their spot among the top 3.
Simple game. We are going to give us all we have. Yeah, we are going to win all the battles. We are reaching the original. We are winning the original. We are winning it. We are winning everything. Nobody can come. I just go fight them. Everyone, we are telling everyone, they can't fight us. We don't want them. I can't. Let's go away. 35 is out here. We are winning.
Senior High School, though finishing with 43 points and missing out on the top 3, secured qualification to the Nationals as one of the best runners-up. Their performance was enough to earn them a lifeline and a shot at redemption on the big stage. With Infantimam girls eyeing their first regional title and a handful of other powerhouses in the mix, the regional championship promises to be nothing short of electrifying. For Joy News, Adobe Asari.
Well, it's time for Showbiz, and Becky Beggs join me. Today we're twinning, like we have the shades of red going on.
Yeah,
today. That's right.
Me.
That's right.
Yeah, we're settled.
Okay, please.
You didn't tell me how I look.
You look very beautiful, my darling.
Thank you, because that will give me, you know, the energy and the boost to tell you all about what's happening in Ghana's tourism, because the industry recorded a remarkable 12% growth in 2024, attracting over 1.2 million international visitors. Topping the list of most visited attractions was the Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, reaffirming its status as a counterpiece of Ghana's rich historical and cultural heritage. We have more in the following report.
At the official launch of the 2024 Tourism Report, Deputy Minister for Tourism, Culture and Creative Arts, Yusivi Sakajaja, announced that government is renovating 6 historic castles, improvement of road networks leading to tourist destinations, and upgrades to digital connectivity in key tourism corridors to improve other tourist centers. These efforts are aimed at addressing long-standing challenges that have contributed to declining interest in some tourist sites.
Enhancing data collection across all MMDAs to inform localized tourism strategies. 4. Supporting NSMEs, which is micro, small and medium enterprises in tourism and creative arts, particularly youth and women-owned businesses. 5. And lastly, leveraging AI and digital technology to enhance visitors' experience and destination management.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Tourism Authority, Mami Ifo Hajeto, also emphasized the authority's commitment to increase promotion of all aspects of tourism in the country. According to the report, the United States led a list of source countries for tourists visiting Ghana, followed closely by Nigeria and several European nations, adding that with strategic investment and targeted marketing, Ghana's tourism sector is positioned for even greater achievements in the years ahead.
It is with great pleasure that I welcome you all to the press launch of the 2024 Ghana Tourism Report, a publication that not only reflects the progress of our industry over the past years, but also reinforces our shared commitment to building a resilient, inclusive, and competitive tourism sector. Tourism continues to serve as a powerful tool of economic transformation, social cohesion, and national branding.
So I'm very excited for Angelique Kidjo.
It's a sign. It's a sign that very soon the likes of Black Sherif, Stoneboy, you know, would also get the same recognition. We're looking forward to that.
Getting a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame is a big deal. So yeah, we're wishing that for all our musicians and all our entertainers here.
Amen.
In Africa, Ghana to be specific. But this evening we have Prime Movie Box. We haven't done that in a while. Okay. So for those of you who have been following Beauty in the Black, Tyler Perry's Beauty in the Black, there's a new season coming up. And so we have the trailer for you. So that is something that you should look forward to. For those of you who are a fan of Tyler Perry, that's something that you should look forward to.
Well.
This Friday.
There's a lot of scenes we're looking forward to in that movie.
Oh, you've seen it?
Well, I tried.
Okay.
I'm not sure I'm a fan of Tyler Perry movies.
Okay.
Why? I think apart from Madea, he just lost me.
Okay. There's something actually coming up with Madea. And so you can probably see that probably. But I mean, thank you so much for having me here.
Oh, I'm so grateful for your time and all.
Log on. Should I do that?
Yes, do the log on to my.
Please log on to myjoyonline.com. It's always an opportunity for me and a pleasure for me to tell you where to go to find all the news. I am grateful. We are actually
very grateful
that you are always seated at your homes and
watching us.
In your homes. We appreciate you here. We appreciate you.
It's Becky's closing remarks for me.
Yeah.
Well, that's how we wrap up the bulletin.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us.